So, all right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the weekly webinar. Today is Thursday, October 30th. I am happy to be with you all. As those of you who joined last week know that I came to you from New York City, which was very exciting, and I very reluctantly returned to Kansas City only because I wanted to be here for the webinar. Otherwise, I might have stayed in the Big Apple. But anyway, happy to be with you. Thanks for joining. Thanks for muting. We always like to have as little background noise as possible so that we can hear our speaker. And then you can use the closed captioning feature as you choose if you need to. And you can use the chat feature while our presenter is talking. And to our presenter, I will watch the chat. You don't have to try to do all of that. But I'll watch the chat, and there may be some questions or comments that hopefully we'll be able to get to. And we are recording. This will be available on YouTube later today. I believe those are all the housekeeping notes for now. So I am very excited to introduce our presenter for today. We have with us Nicolette Page, who is the owner and founder of Soul Child Awakenings. Nicolette is an Indigenous holistic wellness and healing arts practitioner. She's been offering her services professionally in the community for 7 years. And her practice combines Indigenous, African, and Latin American spiritual traditions within the healing arts to help people find purpose and healing and wholeness on their path. Nicolette serves, I've got a whole list of the community she serves. The short answer is, it sounds like almost anybody. The longer answer looks like young people, adults, elders, people with disabilities, people with dementia, as is our favorite group, I think, on the weekly webinar. She today is going to focus on her experience working with folks with Alzheimer's disease, which of course is a special place in our hearts. And another thing I'm super excited about is that Nicolette works with the folks over at Margaret's Place Adult Recreation and Wellness Center. I'll let her tell you more about that. But Margaret's Place, I don't even know if I told you this, Nicolette. I pass by there almost every day. It's on 35th and what is that, Brooklyn? 35th and Woodland?
Yes, 35th and Woodland.
Yes. And so that's my neighborhood. So I drive by there almost every day. And I always think, I bet they are having so much fun in there. So I've known about Margaret's Place for a while. I actually visited their location when they were on Troost a few years ago. I have not gotten myself over to the 35th Street office yet, but I'll put it on my list. And so I think that's how I found Nicolette. I was watching Margaret's Place and seeing what they were up to on their social media. And I saw Nicolette there and I thought, well, wouldn't this be wonderful to hear more from Nicolette about what she does? And she said yes. It's one of my favorite things about the weekly webinar, everybody. All it takes for almost everybody that we have present on here is just me saying, would you please come and talk? And everybody is so gracious and wonderful. So I'm very glad. So with that said, welcome Nicolette Page to the weekly webinar. I will turn it over to you, and we are excited to hear about your work. I'll stop there.
Wonderful. Thank you all for having me today. I'm so excited to be here and to talk with everybody about the work that I do. That was a wonderful introduction, so thank you for that. I started working at Margaret's Place about 5 years ago, and I want to share with you all what Margaret's Place is, because, oh my gosh, y'all, it is a heaven on earth for the elderly and disabled community. I have worked at different wellness centers and adult daycares around the Kansas City area, and I have never been to a place like Margaret's Place before. Most places have very good caretakers and there is a lot of love, but the type of energy at Margaret's Place really feels like a village. It feels like family. It's so good. And I'm so grateful to be a part of their village and being able to share the wonderful, amazing work that they do. So again, Margaret's Place cares for the elderly and disabled community here in Kansas City. They're open during the day from about 8 o'clock in the morning to 5:30 or 6. They accept Medicaid. I believe if you have or Medicare. If you have Medicare, I believe that it's free to be part of the Margaret's Place family. Something else that I love is for those who are not on Medicare, if somebody was not able to afford the cost of being at Margaret's Place, they do have a scholarship program. They have funding to help people to be able to get in there, which I just think is amazing. They have a bus that will come and pick up participants, and they will drop the participants off at the end of the day. The meals there, oh my gosh, they are all home cooked meals. We have a garden in the back that we grow food in every single year. We have different activities such as yoga. They do bingo, of course, arts and crafts, dancing, all kinds of things. And I was invited for the first time 5 years ago. And it was so interesting, y'all, because I had never worked amongst the elderly and disabled and didn't really know how to be in spaces like that. But with the guidance and example of the women who own Margaret's Place, who care for Margaret's Place, their energy is so contagious and loving. All I had to do was watch and learn. And that really says something about their ability to teach and lead by example. It made me feel very comfortable. And it was just within a few sessions of being there that it finally just clicked like this of how to be amongst, how to interact, how to understand individuals living with dementia, living with disabilities, and how to really just understand on a soul level, which is really important. So I started off bringing my instruments in there and singing and bringing my guitar. Yes, it was so fabulous. One thing I love about Margaret's Place is how open they are to diversity and learning new things. As an Indigenous practitioner, I love to bring in the different aspects of Indigenous cultures from African and Latin American teachings that I've learned. And sometimes it's not always embraced. Sometimes it can look so different that people don't understand it and maybe rather not want to try to understand it. However, at Margaret's Place, they embraced it with so much love and compassion, open heartedness, and with an open mind that it gave me the ability to start bringing in more of my Indigenous instruments, such as Indigenous drums and acoustic instruments and percussion. Oh my gosh. It was so fun. So, that's one of the offerings that I bring into Margaret's Place is we do music therapy using instruments and percussion and dance to express ourselves and deepen our connection with one another, to move our bodies and just get that inner child energy flowing. And it's so beautiful being able to sit amongst one another and feel the rhythms. So, in doing music therapy, I love to teach about history, and in African and even indigenous Latin American cultures, the drums were a form of communication. So being able to put the drums in front of individuals who may have a hard time talking, who may even sometimes have a hard time with their motor skills, and seeing how much they come to life, being able to express themselves through the sound and rhythms of the drums and music is so powerful and beautiful. And our ability to make music together creates such a deep connection within all of us. And it makes that village mentality stronger and stronger every time we do music therapy together. It's definitely one of the participants' favorite activities is whenever I bring in all of my instruments, especially when people start getting up and dancing. Yes, oh my gosh. So Most of the time, whenever we do our dancing time, it's with music that we're playing on the radio or something. But to be able to feel the rhythm of drums and percussion and allow that to guide your movement is just a beautiful experience. Watching the participants who may not even have gotten up and danced for years get up and feel those rhythms and feel free to dance. And it's like there's something within their spirit that comes to life in these moments that really remind me of that inner child energy that is inside of us all. And it's just so wonderful. On my social media pages, every Wednesday, I post about our sessions together. The sessions I have at Margaret's Place are called Soul Sessions, and they integrate many different blends of healing therapies. There's music therapy. We do animal therapy, where I bring in different exotic animals, which is always such a fun time. Yes, I have brought in different exotic birds. Not everybody's a fan of the snakes, but some of some of the participants really do like the snakes. But in doing stuff like bringing in the animals, I educate them on the animals. I educate them on their lifestyles, but also the symbolism of the animals, which helps individuals to feel even more deeply connected with nature, which is so beautiful. Also, whenever I bring in the animals, I can see again that inner child energy just awakening within people. Animals have a tendency to help us to be our authentic self. They help to bring in laughter, which is such good medicine for the soul. Something else that is a favorite at Margaret's Place that we do during our soul sessions is we have educational tea times. And let me tell you, it is such a good time. We all get together. I bring in different herbs, I bring in all the cups and everything we need to have some delicious tea. And as I am making this tea, I educate everybody about the different herbs, where they come from, how they grow in nature, and what they can be used for. And sometimes I quiz people. I'll say, does anybody remember what rosemary is good for? And you would be so surprised how many people start to remember after week after week after week of me bringing in these herbs and consistently telling them what they do, that they actually start to remember, which is so important because I bring in herbs that are specifically good and support their mental health and well being. So, individuals living with Alzheimer's or dementia, rosemary can be a very supportive herb to help with memory. Ginkgo, for example, is also another herb that helps with memory and focus. Turmeric helps to reduce inflammation in the body. And so I love to educate about how these herbs are used. And then we get to make a delicious tea. And I'm telling you, everybody gets a nice big cup. And we'll sit there and we'll sip our teas together and we will taste the different notes of the tea. We will talk about how it makes us feel. And that is definitely one of their most favorite activities, just because who doesn't want a loving cup of tea? So we also garden together every year, which is great because some of the participants don't get a chance to move their bodies like that and be in the sun. Also, the soil is so healing to our body. So being able to put our hands in the dirt together and just feel that energy of the soil, and again, just being out in the sun amongst one another, growing food together is so empowering. Let's see what else we have here. Um, so let's see. Another thing that we do is we like to do reflective talking times where sometimes I bring in different things called oracle cards, for example. Oracle cards have different affirmations on them. Sometimes they have different pictures. It could be, for example, a picture of a honeybee or a picture of a tree or a picture of a plant of some kind. And they help to bring about conversations that deepen our understanding of ourselves and each other. And whenever we have these moments together, they are very heartfelt, where we are able to work together through challenges. For example, it's a safe place where we can be our authentic self and share what's on our hearts, share our dreams, our desires, our pains, even. And many times when we have these moments, we share tears together. Sometimes it's tears of pain, sometimes it's tears of joy, sometimes it's both together, which is so beautiful because Margaret's Place is a very safe place for us to be ourselves, a place that nourishes our hearts, that nourishes our souls, and it's so beautiful. So, I'm really grateful to be able to be in a space like this and help to nourish the souls of those in Margaret's Place. And what's so beautiful too is that it's reciprocal. While I am at Margaret's Place, providing the services that I provide, they are also nourishing my soul as well. I never went to school to learn about working with individuals who are living with dementia or Alzheimer's. But the experience that I have had in this community has taught me so much just by directly being there. You know what's so beautiful too is when Margaret's Place decided to move locations to off of 35th and Woodland, at the time I was seeing my clients from my home, and Margaret's Place had an extra room, a big spot in that building. And they said, Nicolette, we love you so much that we want to offer you this space right next door to us. And instead of paying rent, just come over and work with us every week, trading and bartering like a village. You see, like, come on. Come on. I mean, what does that say about the sisters who own and run that place to be able to do that? So, what's even so much more beautiful is as I'm working at Soul Child Awakenings throughout the week, um, I'm able to go over to Margaret's Place and pop in and out whenever I want to hang out or say hello whenever I'm on my downtime. But usually I'm there every Wednesday for an hour doing soul sessions. Now, I will say my soul sessions usually run over time because we always have so much fun. Um, Something that I think is really beautiful too is some of the Alzheimer's patients that we have. What is that thing on the screen? Sorry, I just seen a.
Hi, Nicolette. That was just me sending a little thumbs up. Yay, I love that you go over time because, that's familiar around here. But please continue.
That's okay. I just noticed that little thing. I was trying to figure out what it was, but so there is a Alzheimer's patient. Uh, Her name, what is Miss Hatch. Oh, I love Miss Hatch so much. And when Miss Hatch started to come into Margaret's Place many moons ago, we could see that she had experienced a lot of trauma in her life. And it just was interesting how the details of what she could remember in those moments, and how during the day, sometimes it's like she would be reliving these memories that hurt her soul. In that, in being around Miss Hatch during those times, it really taught me the importance of making peace with our past, the importance of living in the moment right now in a way where I'm walking with the purpose of gratitude and surrounding myself with people who I feel safe around, who love me, and the importance of loving myself. Well, you may not think someone like Miss Hatch, who had been through so much and is now living with dementia, you wouldn't think maybe that she could overcome the traumas. However, through the love and support of the individuals at Margaret's Place, slowly but surely, she stopped talking about those traumas. And her spirit started to light up more and more and more. I know it's common for individuals living with dementia that as their health declines, sometimes they can become agitated. Well, as Miss Hatch, as her health, her memory has started to decline, surprisingly, her spirit has become more lively. And I couldn't tell you the last time I heard her talking about her traumas. Nowadays, when she's sitting, it's like she is living in the moment. She may not remember much of what happened 5 minutes ago, but one thing I noticed is that she consistently has a smile on her face and she remembers the energy of individuals. Miss Hatch, when she sees me now, always gets this beautiful grin on her face because I always have made it a point to go up to her and say, Miss Hatch, you just looking so beautiful today, because she really do be looking so beautiful. And she's so funny because she'll sit there and she'll go, "Oh, is that right? Is that right?" I'm like, "Yes, it's so true, Miss Hatch." And, within minutes, she'll forget that we had that interaction, but I can tell that she remembers my energy by the way she looks at me now with a smile on her face. So, being surrounded by individuals who have that community mindset has helped her to grow, even while living with dementia. Watching that has been such a learning lesson for me and has given me so much hope. So there's another individual. His name was Jeffrey, and Jeffrey used to be a drummer. And Jeffrey could not sit for nothing. Okay. He would walk around Margaret's Place, just could not sit for nothing. But when I would bring my drums in there, his soul, oh, you could tell he was a drummer because the way he would just start tapping his hands and he would feel it and he would walk himself where the music was and he would dance, he would tap his fingers, he would play the drums, and it was such a beautiful moment to experience with him. Also, Jeffrey over time was unable to talk and didn't show much expression on his face. And I would watch the owners of Margaret's Place. Their names are Patricia McCreary and Sharice Muhammad. Amazing, amazing sisters. I would watch them interact with Jeffrey, and they would just look at him in his eyes sometimes and would say the sweetest things where he would cry. And it was like it was like he felt seen in so many ways. And they would just have a conversation with him, telling him like, we love you, Jeffrey. And I can't even begin to say the conversations because it was just so pure and genuine. And watching individuals be able to have that type of heart-centered connection is so valuable. So I'm so excited because I've been noticing that in clinical spaces, practitioners are starting to be more open to Indigenous healing practices, or also known and can be known as holistic wellness practices as well. I love to I like to care for people. I like to care for their mind, their body, and their spirit all together. So yes, it's very important in the practice of curanderismo, which is something I've studied for many moons, that originates from ancient Mesoamerica. It's a healing shamanic practice, and the practice deals with an individual and cares for them on that mind, body, and soul level all together, because it is believed that everything is intertwined and interconnected. So, as some of you may know, an individual who is experiencing depression, for example, well, depression will also have an effect on your physical health as well. Sometimes depression can cause weight gain or weight loss in people. So if I'm going to help an individual with their depression, not only am I providing therapeutic services, but also helping to come up with, for example, herbal teas that will support a uplifting mood while also detoxing their body. Okay, you guys. And these are practices that have been present for so long now. And I love the idea of indigenous practices, holistic wellness practices being integrated in clinical spaces for the sake of healing and wholeness, helping individuals to find purpose and joy in their life. Music can move the body in so many beautiful ways and can help individuals to overcome not just mental challenges, but physical challenges as well. It can help to reduce pain in the body. It is amazing. I just saw a comment down there. It happened so fast I didn't get a chance to read it. Because do you mind, Kelly? Do you mind reading that out loud, please?
Absolutely. This is a beautiful comment, and it's from one of our regulars, Mr. Eldine Holtis, and he writes, "This is a great program. As caregivers, we forget dementia sufferers are each in their box, and we need to get in their box, not try to bring them out. Making tea and sharing the ingredients triggers memories. I use this method in historical presentations, such as one-room schools, rural small churches, community-related activities as some examples." Now, I don't agree with this last part, Mr. Holtis, but he finishes by saying, "Obviously, I'm not a professional." Well, listen, professionals are one thing, but we have the example of Nicolette, who says she didn't go to school and is clearly an expert on this. And Mr. Holtis, every week you give us a gem about your almost 93 years. So what a wonderful comment. Wholeheartedly agree, except for the part I don't agree with, but I still read it.
Well, you know why? I got to tell you why. You know what an expert is?
Yeah, what is
An
an expert?
expert is someone who can look at a messed up bed and tell whether it was used for love or money.
Oh, wow.
Is that X-rated?
On that note,
oh my gosh, you got jokes.
Jokes.
Well, I got more. I'm loaded with that useless stuff.
I can just imagine. Nicolette, you are amazing. I mean, I've gotten in 3 years, I've gotten to have a good feeling about who I can invite to the webinar, and I have been so pleased to have you with us today. I want to say a couple of things. If anybody has any more comments or questions, please feel free to use the chat. But Nicolette, I wanted to go back to your, you were talking about bringing the animals, the birds and the snakes to Margaret's Place. And I saw your pictures on Facebook, and you talked about long-term memory, and especially how, 5 minutes ago, we don't know if we remember that, but things from long ago. Anyway, I'm getting to my point here, and I see my mother is on this Zoom call, so she can confirm this. I know she looked at me when you said you bring birds. There are only 2 birds in the world that I am not afraid of, and that is Big Bird from Sesame Street and the Jayhawk from KU. All other birds, no thank you. And I just know that if I find myself in a Margaret's Place someday with some kind of memory loss and some lovely person like you brings a bird in, I am going to freak out. My question is, I mean, I'm kind of making fun of myself, but my question that I wanted to ask is, it sounds like everything you do is so nurturing and loving and meaningful for people. Any guidance for when someone might become agitated? And I'll use myself as an example. I would probably start cursing if you brought a bird around me. So what what can you tell a caregiver to do in the event that their loved one becomes upset when you're just trying to do something that's nurturing?
So that's a very good question. And I love that. And I'm trying to think, I guess I've been lucky with being at Margaret's Place and participants not becoming so agitated. When it comes to bringing in the animals, I'm really good at reading body language and knowing how to keep my distance from those who may not be as comfortable. However, Jeffrey, for example, I started noticing showing signs of agitation, for example, whenever we would need to take him to the bathroom. So I used music and touch to help calm him down. So I did go to school for massage therapy. And so, in the process of helping to walk him to the bathroom, sometimes as I'm holding his hand, I would gently squeeze his hand in different areas to help calm him down. And patience is huge. Patience is a big thing. You've got to be so patient with individuals. But also, I knew what kind of music he loved. And so I would hum sometimes the music for him, or sometimes I would put on a playlist that I created for him. And I would have the phone in my pocket, on a very low volume where we could hear it, but not too loud. And that would significantly help him to get into a better space where he wouldn't feel so agitated. I never experienced the participants feeling agitated with the animals. When it came to the snakes, even, it's interesting. There's a participant, she's like, I'm not about to touch no snake, However, even though she does not like the snakes, she actually told me in the past few weeks that she wanted to hold the snake. Yes, which I was like, okay, I see you, growth. Let's go. Um, so I really think gentle touch, knowing how to do that too, because some participants don't want to be touched like that. But even a gentle rub on the middle of someone's back is something that's very comforting. Light squeezes on the hands or even on the arms, like here, can be so comforting to an individual, especially the hands. There's a lot of energy that we feel in our hands, and it's just something that helps to deepen connection with individuals. So I would say stuff like light touch, light music. If you know a kind of music that they like, classical music is also always usually really good. But hey, guess what? Reggae music, like roots reggae music, is also something that I see has such a contagious energy that's very uplifting that many people love. Something else that could be used is aromatherapy. Aromatherapy, such as using lavender essential oils, is really good for bringing about a sense of calmness within somebody. Um, uh, Another essential oil that I love that helps bring about an uplifting mood is any kind of citrus essential oil, like lemon, for example, is really good. Using all of those things have proven to work in the settings that I work in. And we're not using medication to try to calm them down. We're using holistic practices, which I think is so important. And now I will say, I do know that some of the participants are on medications, okay? And I'm not against pharmaceuticals. I just want to put that out there too. I'm not against them, but I do love using the power of holistic practices.
I mean, yeah, it sounds amazing. And if you convince a person to touch a snake who wouldn't touch a snake, there might be hope for me and others like me. So very clearly, your expertise and your talent are meaningful, Nicolette. I could listen to you keep telling us all these things for a long, long time, but we are at time. I hope you can see in the
Okay.
chat, people are saying, thank you. This is very inspirational. I got a couple of messages to me saying, thank you for finding Nicolette. So on behalf of all of us, thank you so much for being with us today. And You'll now
Thank you
know
so
that
much for
whenever,
inviting
yes,
me.
of course, and I'm going to keep you on my list because I'd love to have you again. We sometimes do our events in person, and maybe we could have you do an in-person event sometime
Would love to. I will
without,
bring y'all some
um,
tea.
you can bring tea, you can bring a snake, you cannot bring a bird. We'll talk about it. But thank you, everyone. I do want to mention a couple of other things before we wrap up for today. One is that we are now in the midst of Medicare open enrollment. And I know you all are probably seeing commercials and things on TV. We have a weekly webinar that I've recorded and presented about how Medicare works with Alzheimer's disease. And I may put a link to that in one of our newsletters upcoming. So I want to make sure you all know what to do about that. What else was I going to say? Next week, Dr. Jeff Burns, our co-director, will be our presenter on the weekly webinar, and he's going to talk about what we've learned kind of over the last year in terms of research updates. So that will, as all of our webinars are, will be lots of great new information about what we're working on here at the ADRC. Coming up Monday in your next issue of the My Alliance newsletter, I am super excited to announce that we have a brand new research study. In fact, you all are the first to hear about it outside of the ADRC. We have a new research study that we're going to be looking for participants for, and it is a medication study. And that's something that people very frequently ask us about. Is there new medication available? So read your newsletter on Monday, read every single word, and you'll find out about the research study and you'll have more information about that. Thank you to Nicolette for putting the links to Margaret's Place and to Soul Child Awakenings in the chat. I will make sure to link those in our newsletter as well. So lots and lots of good stuff coming up. And we are super grateful to you, Nicolette, for sharing. I'm envious of those folks over there at Margaret's Place who get to hang out with you. One of these days, I'll come knock on the door and say hey to everybody. And I agree that Patricia and Therese, right?
Sharice.
Patricia and Therese are just lovely, lovely folks, and I'm so glad they're in our community. If you are not in the Kansas City area, but you're interested in finding about adult day programs, I will keep that in mind, and I'll make sure that we have some resources for you as well. All right.
I would like to. Could I add real quick?
Yes.
For those of you interested in learning more about Margaret's Place, they do offer a free day for individuals wanting to find an adult daycare. They'll offer you to come in for a day. It's great. I highly recommend.
I second that. That's a great way to find out, how your loved one might experience that day. It's a nice way to get a break. You deserve a break as a caregiver. So check that out. And then one last thing I'm going to say, I hope she doesn't mind. And I'm sorry if you do, Dr. Becca Lepping. I'm glad to see you on the weekly webinar today. Some of you may have attended our program at the Lead Center this month, the Brains, Thoughts, and Harmonies program. And since Dr. Lepping is here, I have to say she was our wonderful leader in that program, told us some great things about music, and then put her money where her mouth is. Played on the, I don't know which way the flute goes, but anyway, played on the flute with the KU Musicians in Medicine and Derek Kwan. And I see if I start naming names, that's not good. But anyway, it was a wonderful event. Those of you who attended, I think, would co-sign on that. If you didn't get to attend, don't worry. We are going to talk about planning another one. It was a really, really lovely event, and I'm super glad that Dr. Lepping and I were able to work together to bring you that. And thank you to Mr. Holtis for the inspiration of Home on the Range. We did sing it. The audience did a great job singing. I think I have a little bit of a video that I will share with you. And it was really, really, really special. A really excellent day. So thank you for that. Thank you, everybody, for your enthusiasm about that. It was an excellent program.
Thank you.
I say so myself. So, all right. I guess we'll wrap up for now. We'll be back next Thursday with Dr. Burns talking about research updates, and watch your newsletter on Monday for the information about our new medication study. It's going to be exciting to see what that might look like. All right, Nicolette, thank you again. And I'll make sure everybody has the link to the recording. Take care, everybody.
Thank you all so much. Take care.